Okay, so after all these years you've seen me struggle doing rip cuts and cross cuts down on the back deck there of breaking down a sheet. So, in my infinite wisdom, I've actually acquired the Kreg Accu-Cut. Basically it's a poor man's track saw. Hopefully you can fit most circular saws to it and turn it into a track saw. So let's set it up and see how we go with it. Let's go and make something. First thing you're going to do is put the non-slip rubber guides on. The next thing is the joiners. And you get stickers to number the rails. And they come with wee grub screws. 2 arrows go together. You don't have to over tighten them. Now I'm going to get a straight edge. Straight edge, just make sure that you're lining up. They should be pretty straight anyway, but you can never be too short. Putting all 4 rails together means you can rip down like a full sheet of ply or something. That's 2.4 meters long. With the 2 rails, you can cross cut it with a 1200 long. Before I lose these, what I am going to do off camera is I'm going to actually just screw these in so I don't lose them. Now, I've got 2 circular saws, but I also bought a rip guide, and the sleds are exactly the same, so they're interchangeable. So on the front of the sled, it's got this wee attachment here. You can see it's like a bevel, and that is for if your circular saw, the front is either flat or have a bevel, and mine just so happens to have a bevel, and it just helps support it. I don't know by how much. So I'm just going to leave it in the default setting there, but you can just flip it over and it will become a straight piece. They recommend taking this right off, but I don't see the point of taking the thing right off. I'll loosen these up. And I'll line that right up with my edge of my table, my bench. That's probably a good way of doing it. Sure that's staying square up there. When I do my first cut, it's going to trim a little bit of this guide off, and then it will be set, in theory. The first thing now is to set our setting block. Okay, maybe I do have to take it off and flip it over. So next time I come to use it, I don't have to ever touch this one. That's where it sits. It'd help if I tighten that one down first, where I want it. Make sure we're still square up here, which we're a little bit skew with. Okay. I'm going to tighten that one down. I don't know how tight you can do those. I don't think you need to do them that tight. Yeah. You can change. If your circular saw has other bits and pieces on it up the front, you can change that to there, and this one over into here, or wherever you need to put them. Whereas I appear to be able to lock it in right there like that. At the starting block, as you can see, the saw is just sitting there, lining that up. The reason I'm not worried about the measurement to see if it was accurate is, at first I just want to see if it's cutting it straight, because that's all I'm really worried about. Holy crap, that's not bad at all. It's a lot straighter than I can do freehand anyway. So as you can see, that cut just trimmed a fraction of that non-stick guide. Why am I saying non-stick? I want the thing to stick. Non-slip guide. So therefore, when I line that up next time, it will be spot on. Now, my next trick, I know that that is all set up. I know that that's set up. And the other rails over here just attached to it, so that's fine. I want to know where I've put it. So I've now installed that same sled onto the Rip-Cut. I've set it to 200, and just going by the measurement there, I haven't touched anything, and that's 200mm from my blade without changing anything. And most Rip-Cuts that I do are just a pre-cut before I put it through the table saw anyway. So I'm actually pretty happy with that without even doing a test cut. Cool. All I gotta do now is do the DeWalt onto the other sled just over there. To be fair, I don't use the DeWalt that often anymore because I've got to set up the cable and I don't even know where it is. Oh, it's down there. Because it's a power one, I have to run a cable. I've got a power source down there anyway, so it's not that bad, but it's still annoying. So I actually don't think I'm going to do a test cut with this today. I'm actually surprised that that actually is just spot on. So the final thing I bought was the Kreg Precision Bandsaw Fence. This was just purely because the fence on my bandsaw, yeah, it's not the best. I have no idea if it will even work with my bandsaw. A screw nutcase bolts, bit of plastic and a cardboard box. However, it does say fits most 14-inch bandsaws. Doesn't mean it will fit mine. So the first thing is to install this. First issue was the bolts that came with the fence are Imperial, being American, and these are metric. So I've actually found some other bolts. I might actually have to drill some holes anyway, possibly line those two up. Possibly, but not quite. We're out by about 1.5 mm. Don't really like doing this to new tools and stuff, but oh well. That might be enough. It's not quite enough. I'm going to have to do the same to the other one. Wouldn't you want that to be just square? Wouldn't that? It doesn't make sense. That not make sense to me, but oh well. Like that. Yeah. Sneaky. Yeah, come on. I can't see what I'm doing. This just makes it fully adjustable, I think. Come on, spinny spin. Missed me grab screws. Height adjusting grab screw there. Height adjusting nylon. These are just made of nylon by the feels of it. They go in there, and that just keeps it all level and heightless. And I think I will be purchasing the accessory that screws into that to give it fine adjustment, just because. Yeah, so these nylon screws, just set the height so that it's not metal on metal, and it gives it a nice smooth run. And you got these ones as well. Now you can have it set anywhere you like, depending on what the type of cut you're doing. If you want a long lead in or a longer outfeed. I've got a few spare nylon grub screws, which is cool. What I'll do is I'll store them away, because they probably will wear. I'll store them away in a spot that I'll never forget where they are and never to be found again. So you can see here I've had to re-drill. It didn't fit exactly where I thought it was going to fit, so I've drilled 2 new holes and tapped them out, making this hole bigger. These 2 holes slightly bigger. Kind of annoyed me now because it didn't actually end up working. However, I've got it on there. Slides over quite nicely, stays square. If we get my square, it's pretty square there to the table. You can fine tune that with the 4 set screws to level it, and I've got it pretty close. A human hair out, and considering I've got no hair, I can still use my miter gauge. That's flush there, but my tape measure, 4 foot 48 inches. That's useless. If you're going to sell these things internationally, give the option to tape measure that's in metric. So Kreg, give me a metric one. And the manual puts the metric measurements in. I have no idea what a 16th of an inch is. I had to guess that. Other than that, I got it all to go. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. And remember to click the notification bell icon, that way you'll be notified when I upload a new video. You can find us on most social media, including Google+, Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter and Instagram. Please also consider supporting me on Patreon. See you next time. Don't forget to go and make something.